The Washington Redskins are 1-5, but excitement is in the air as the 2-4 Tennessee Titans come to FedExField, and it's homecoming weekend. The alumni are here to help celebrate the Washington Redskins' fabulous past. I'm Lou Holder. Welcome into Gametime Live, presented by Verizon. This show is going to be a little different because we have so many high-profile Washington Redskins alumni that are here, and what better to start than two of the three Super Bowl winning MVPs for the Washington Redskins joining us on Gametime Live, presented by Verizon, Doug Williams and Mark Rippon. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the show.
Well, it's such a great day, to be here and be a part of this celebration. And, the thing about it, when I was here in '86, I watched Mark grow. We was talking about it last night, man. I never seen anybody work as hard as Mark did, along with Coach Rome, and to know that he accomplished what he's accomplished, he certainly deserved to be up in this stadium, and it's good to be part of it, along with some of his teammates and some of the guys that played before him and after him.
Right. Talk about going up in the stadium at halftime. Mark Rippon is going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor here at FedExField, and Mark, it's got to be great to just come back to see all your teammates and people that you played alongside with, but to have your name in this stadium's got to be something special.
Very humbling, very honored, and then I think the one thing having alumni here is the accountability piece. Doug mentored me, and when you got a situation where you're winning Super Bowls in that era, that 11-year era of football here, Redskin football was probably the greatest in the NFL. And when you got guys winning Super Bowls, you make the playoffs and you don't go deep in the playoffs, you don't win the big game, it's kind of almost a disappointment. The bar was set so high by so many people, and obviously, everyone knows what the great things Doug did in the game itself, but just guys that really excelled, and we held each other accountable by what we did on and off the field. We did things together in the community, and it was really, I think one of the things that homecoming always brings to us is a chance and an opportunity to see and talk about the old times, and hopefully, and I know the one thing it's helped these players too in today's game is they play well at homecoming. They play well when the alumni come out because they're held accountable and they see what we've done, and they've known the great things that we've accomplished. And to have my name hoisted up there, and the guys that played before me, and I just honor and the respect that I had and the accountability piece for them, the guys that played after me, the respect that they had for this organization, and the guys I played with, the guys I was able to watch and grow and be able to, a piece of each one of them, and the 56,000 fans will be lifted up there with me today. And I'm just honored to be up there with Doug and all these great names that are here in this stadium.
You're watching Gametime Live, presented by Verizon. Gentlemen, the quarterback position here in Washington, D.C. is like no other. You two have a very, very unique perspective on what's it like to play quarterback in this town. The quarterback position right now, Robert Griffin III et al. Just talk about what it's like to be playing quarterback in this town and what could be going through their minds right now as this team tries to find its way.
Well, I think Mark and I feel the same way. The most important thing for a quarterback is, number one, to have an opportunity to do things that you're capable of doing, and it starts up front. Without the offensive line to give you an opportunity to do it, without receivers who can get open. We both was fortunate enough to play with some guys. One guy, probably one of the fiercest guys of all time, probably pound for pound. I say this all the time, not because, he might be close by. It's because, to me, he's the toughest guy to play receiver pound for pound I'll play with, and that's Gary Clark, along with Art Monk and Rick Sanders and Donnie Warren and Clint Didier. And I think Mark will feel the same way.
You had to have someone to go over the middle. Gary wasn't afraid to go over the middle. He wanted the ball over the middle and made big plays for us. But, yeah, you're only as good as the guys up front, and you have to stay healthy. And when you're not playing well in the offensive line, you're seeing the effects it's had on Robert's career already. He is when he's healthy, his first year here, we can see what he can do and the great things that he can accomplish. But in essence, if that's not the case, he's not a big body. He's not like us. We're big bodies, We knew the good thing about our offensive line. They knew where we were going to be within five or six steps, one way or another, But as immobile as we were elusive enough to move in the pocket. Joe Gibbs is good enough to get us outside the pocket, whether it's play action or half rolls one way or another. So the pocket was never the same place all the time. But our guys always knew where we were going to be, and it made their job easier, and they're also the best in the game, too, the Hogs were.
One last question before I let you go. I know a lot of people that are watching Gametime Live, presented by Verizon, want to know your greatest moment being a Washington Redskins football player. Is it that Super Bowl and that MVP, or is there something else that we are Not even aware of.
I said, you know, the Super Bowl MVP is great, but the game we won, to watch Darrell Green and Darrell Nelson at the goal line and knock that pass away to give us an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, for me, was the greatest moment.
Yeah, you're not going to. There's certain circumstances, you know, that you're going to play, that you play in the Super Bowl, but it's games prior to that, and Doug alluded to that you don't make that play, you're not going to the big game, and we're probably both not sitting here because of things, outcomes that happened in the Detroit Lions. Well, I wouldn't say Detroit Lions game. We kind of handed it to them pretty good, but the Falcons we played, you know, in our first round game, and that's the hardest thing to do when you whoop up on them and during the regular season as we did, to play them in the playoffs. You know that they're going to come in with a different attitude, and that is the hardest game probably we had, was our first playoff game in this not this stadium but at RFK and against the Falcons. And you don't win that, none of this. We don't have this day to day where you get to see old faces and talk about great moments and the great history of this organization.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Right.
Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, two of the best to ever play the position here in Washington, D.C. as they join Gametime Live presented by Verizon. All right, as they step out, we got more firepower on this show coming in here. They talked about you. They talked about the man. He's here, right here. Gary Clark. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What lies did they tell about?
They said Doug Williams said he benefited from having people like you that would sell themselves out to go over the middle and catch that ball. That's what he said.
Well, Dougie Fresh, Mark Rippon, Joe Theismann, three of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, definitely three of the best quarterbacks in Redskin history, and I had a chance to play with all three of those guys. Awesome.
Alumni weekend, when you come back and you see all the history of this team and, you know, on display, and you keep coming back, it's got this fraternity's got to be like no other.
I look forward to this game every season. I look forward to homecoming, being able to come back and see guys that you play with, see guys that played ahead of your time, see guys that played after your time. It's one big family reunion, and it's awesome, without a doubt, awesome. As
you look over this, you know, I know that when you guys come back and you see the team, you look at the guys who are playing your position now. When you see that, Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, what's your thoughts of the talent level now in the NFL, where you would have fit in there, and can this group get themselves together to be an impact unit for the Washington Redskins?
Oh, without a doubt. I think the receiving unit that the Redskins have this season is probably the closest thing I've seen to the Posse, the Smurfs, since
the Posse and Smurfs. You bringing back some names, bro.
Too. I mean, it's been that long since I've seen a group of receivers that are that deep, that depth. They're 4 to 5 deep, and that's strong. We were 3 deep. They're 4 to 5 deep. And it's great receivers, great receiving core.
Okay. So we got more friends like, hey, Ricky, come in here. Darrell, come in here. It's a party here on Gametime Live presented by Verizon. We got Ricky Irvins. We got Darrell Green coming in here, all talking stories. Come on, fellas. Come on in here. Come on in here. Hey, look. Darrell Green, Ricky Irvins. Hey, listen, running back position. Your thoughts of the current crew that's assembled here?
Well, I like it, man. I was just talking to Morris the other day and just tell him how good he is, how he reminds me of an old school runner, and I appreciate that. So I think they're doing pretty good right now.
You, on the defensive end, who do you like on this defensive end, sir?
As far as
current players assembled.
Oh, Kerrigan, definitely. Okay. He's top notch, man. He's bringing the heat. Everybody else has to come and bring the heat just like he's bringing it, man. They got to be one cohesive unit, bring the fire, and get some pressure, man.
I know this place doesn't shake like RFK, but when you come in here and you see that the crowd support that this franchise still has, still humbling?
Oh, it's definitely humbling. I mean, the fans are the greatest in the land, as Mr. Cook used to say, and we love them greatly, and they're going to be here fired up and ready to go. We need some wins, man, and that's what the fans want to bring.
As you know, it's always about the fans, man. The fans make us. So, but, you know, that experience at RFK was something else that you can't experience anywhere. But, you know, here I think it's a great networking environment, so they're doing a great job.
What's it like coming back and seeing all the guys that you used to play with, and then some of the guys played, you know, before and after you, just all assembled in one group? I mean, it's got to be humbling to see before and after and just where you guys are in the pantheon of Washington Redskins history.
Oh, it's great tradition. The organization has great tradition, and it's always great to get home with family. It's like a big family reunion, and to see all the legendary guys here and the current, and it's just great to get together. It's humbling, and it's an exciting time. It's very exciting.
Okay.
I just want to know what water Gary is drinking because this guy looks so young. I don't know. I'm telling you, what are you drinking to be this young?
Well, let's put you on the spot. What are you drinking that's making you so young? That's a question from Ricky Irvin.
Gatorade. Gatorade, baby. Gatorade. All Gatorade.
Gentlemen, your thoughts on the Washington Redskins name? It's been in the news. It's all over the place. You guys played for the franchise. Your thoughts on the name and everything that's going on with it right now?
Well, to me, and I was fortunate enough to go straight to the source. I went straight to the source, Native Americans, and all the Native Americans that I spoke to, which have been hundreds of Native Americans. They love the name. They love what it stands for. They love the respect that the Washington Redskins organization does for the name and gives the name. Redskin forever, baby. Redskins till I die.
Go ahead.
I bleed burgundy and gold, Redskins forever. Don't change the name. I'm for it. When I went out there and bled and broke bones, and hey, I was a Redskin and going to be a Redskin forever. So change the name. I love it, and it's very empowering to us. It means a lot to our history.
Just echo what they said, man. I mean, if you change your name, what would you change it to? I mean, it's just like the Redskins mean the Redskins. When you think of Redskins, I don't necessarily think that you think about, Native Americans, but everybody think about the football players, the guys out there just out here working hard, doing what they got to do. But, I don't have much knowledge on that type of stuff, on that subject about, what's going on with the Native Americans and all that stuff. So I really can't give you an intelligent answer about that.
Okay. Before I let you go, on Gametime Live presented by Verizon, your fondest memory of being a Washington Redskin?
Probably for me, just probably getting in the first game and at RFK when I got 133 yards on 13 carries. You would think I would say the Super Bowl, but I think in that game right there when I just bust on the scene.
That's what I'm asking. You think it might be Super Bowls, but it might be something else. Is it that play for you, sir?
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be the play
against the. We're gonna call it that play
against our arch rival, the Cowgirls, and we had to get it done and to get that defective pass and intercept and run in. Hey, we were on to the Super Bowl and brought the trophy home, man. So that interception, that pick had to do it for me.
How about you, sir?
First touchdown in my first Super Bowl, hands down. Unbelievable experience.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Gary Clark, Darrell Green, my man, Ricky Irvin, all joining us on Gametime Live, presented by Verizon. Thank you, gentlemen, as you guys go off and enjoy homecoming weekend as the Washington Redskins are playing the Tennessee Titans here at FedExField on Alumni Weekend, homecoming weekend, where all these guys are coming in. It's so much history here as the Washington Redskins get ready to take on the Tennessee Titans. We're trying to get Darrell Green, D. Green, come here. Oh, Darrell Green's taking pictures. Look. This is something you will not get anywhere else as the Washington Redskins. See that? Look. 2 Super Bowl MVPs and Mr. Redskin, who's coming over here now with the fur and everything on. Darrell Green, your name says it all. What's it like coming back year after year? I mean, you played in the stadium. You played in RFK. You're Mr. Redskin, but every time you come back, you got to be a little choked up.
Yeah, I don't have any affiliation with the team, not coaching, not part of it. But this, they offer us this once a year, and I look forward to it every year. I give credit to Dan Snyder and Tanya for putting this together, and Mr. Allen as well. But really, at the end of the day, this is about the people. It's about the relationships that we have, and that includes the media, where we get to come together with our wives, our children, see each other, talk, just reminisce. And you don't get that too often. We get that for high school. You go back to your 30th, your 40th. But, sometimes people have family reunions. And this is different because also this includes the community a lot of times. And it's a very unique thing to be in the Washington Redskins family. And that doesn't just include the players. It includes the whole community. So it really is special.
I always remember your last game that you played here, walking around the stadium and shaking hands with everybody. Every time you come in here, it's got to feel something special for you. And then to see your teammate, Mark Rippon's name go up there with yours, I mean, this is something a little bit even special for you because, you played with the man.
Yeah, I was just over there laughing with those guys. Those quarterbacks, they carried the whole day for everybody. They were the leaders carrying the day for us. The fans carried the day for us. It's just really, no matter who goes up there, it's special, because their significance. We got guys that you may not even know as much, but they have a significance we all had a significance to make up the whole, and including you guys. And so it really is special. It means a lot to me. This is the day I think everybody looks forward to coming back, and also following the team and, hopefully rooting the team on.
Darrell, I know a lot of people watching on Redskins.com would want to know, 20 years playing for one team, what is your fondest moment as a Washington Redskin?
Oh, wow.
Is it impossible?
Yeah, well, because, when I think about with the Washington Redskins, I think about, because it's my whole life. I met my wife here, but I got here because the team drafted me. I met my pastor here in my church for 30-some years because the team brought me here. So it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. I played and ran Dorsett down, or I played in the Super Bowl. It's bigger. If you really can't put it into one thing, it's all of it. My kids got a chance to grow up in this community and be a part of this world here. So, but me, probably more than most. It's everything. This is my life. I buried both of my parents in Texas. My whole life as an adult has been in this community, affiliated with this city, with this team. So, man, I'm humbled. I'm humbled by it.
Glad to have you on. Game Time Live presented by Verizon. Doesn't get any better than that. Mr. Redskin, Washington Redskins, Darrell Green joining us as the Washington Redskins get ready to play on the Tennessee Titans here on Alumni Weekend, Homecoming Weekend. Mark Rippon at halftime is going to be put into the Ring of Honor, is being honored as one of the best to ever be represented here for the Washington Redskins. As some of the players come out, we can't have a show without Mr. Big Sexy coming through here as he's looking at his cell phone, trying to find inactives and everything like that. Chris Russell joins us here. I mean, Chris, I hate to have you have come after all those guys, but they were here first. I know, because it's hard following Darrell Green and Doug Williams and Mark Rippon and Darrell Green and Ricky Irvins and Gary Clark, but you are here, and we got to talk a little football. Who's in, who's out, what's going on as you look at your phone?
I definitely have not won any Super Bowls, so let's start with that. I've brought nothing.
But you are super.
I brought nothing but joy, though, to everyone in my inner circle in life, I'm sure. Here are the Redskins inactives. Of course, we know Robert Griffin III, Aldrick Robinson, so for a second consecutive week, Santana Moss is up as expected. Tracy Porter, Perry Riley, again, second consecutive week out. Will Compton once again starts at the Jack inside linebacker. Here's where I would get concerned. Both Spencer Long and Morgan Moses once again inactive. They've been active. They've been inactive. They're not making enough progress. That's all I know for 2 third-round picks on an offensive line that, quite honestly, desperately needs them. And then the final one, as expected, with Stephen Bowen up. Clifton Geathers still on the roster, but is inactive.
Let's go. Stephen Bowen is up, and
yes.
that's huge for this defense.
Absolutely, no doubt. Bowen is a guy who, yes, coming off the microfracture surgery, I expect him to see maybe 8-10 snaps, somewhere in that range, but he can play the right defensive end. He can play the left defensive end. He could play in some nickel, although I don't expect necessarily that. He's going to basically be in the Kedrick Golston mode right now, but eventually, Lou, I think he will replace Jarvis Jenkins as the starting defensive end on the left side in the base, what they call Okie package, eventually. Not today, maybe next week, maybe the week after that, 2 weeks from today in Minnesota. We'll see how his body holds up. The good thing is he's had a lot of other nagging injuries besides the microfracture, so all of those injuries have had time to heal. Bicep, other knee, PCL, so hopefully the Redskins get the 2011 Stephen Bowen.
All right, let's step out of the way for a second, because we've seen a lot of me, but not a lot of look at that. What's going on in this conversation right now between Gary Clark and Ricky Irvin?
I mean, I have no idea. I can't interpret what exactly they're talking about. But what I'm
you can only imagine.
I will tell you that what's interesting as I look out, Jack Gruden, Jay's son, is starting to take a more active role in on-field preparation for the Redskins. He throws the ball around pretty much every game, now catching passes from the quarterbacks warming up. This team needs, quite honestly, all the help it can get as they warm up. And, look, at 1-5, they are a team that, needs to do 6 or 7 things right in order to win this game, Lou. They need to convert on third down. They need to run the ball. They need to avoid turnovers. They need to create turnovers. They need to defend the punt return well, and they need to avoid penalties. These are the things that have been killing this team week in and week out.
All right, final thing before I let you go, because it's been a jam-packed show, but obviously after all the alumni stuff is gone and dissipated, this is a 1-5 football team that needs a win against a 2-4 football team, and it's very, very doable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the Titans are coming in here banged up. No Jake Locker, he's inactive. No Sean Green, their starting running back, who, oh, by the way, had 3 touchdowns the last time he was at FedEx with the Jets in late 2011. He's inactive. No starting left defensive end, Ropati Pitatua. And he was going to be a matchup problem, I think, for Tyler Columbus and Chris Chester. They're coming in banged up. They're young and inexperienced. They have a great head coach, a good head coach, a good offensive mind for a head coach in Ken Wisenhunt. So if the Redskins allow them to stay in this game, that's trouble. The Redskins need to step on the gas pedal right from the start.
All right, that's Chris Russell joining us as we wrap up here on Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. We have had such a great show. Chris Russell was here. We had these two gentlemen that you see right now, Ricky Irvin and Gary Clark, was here. Mark Rippon and Doug Williams, wow, also here. A bunch of people coming in to help us celebrate homecoming here for the Washington Redskins as they take on the Tennessee Titans. Enjoy the game. You've been watching Game Time Live, presented by Verizon.